Here we have a new 2022 Chevrolet Malibu in the RS trim level. This one comes in mosaic black metallic on jet black cloth interior. And the powertrain consists of a 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder mated with a continuously variable transmission, aka CVT. But as you come around to the front end here, we have that signature Malibu grille that we've had since 2019, 2020. Halogen headlamps. I really like the blacked out grille though, and the black badging. And then here we have 18-inch aluminum wheels. Black badging Malibu there, that looks good. We get passive keyless entry on the front two doors. In the door panel here, we have our power door lock controls, power window controls, power mirror controls, and of course we can lock the windows from being rolled down. Cup holder, a little storage pocket there. And then we have our headlamp controls and our power driver's seat with power lumbar support. Let's check out this back seat here. Gonna hop in here. Now I did something silly. I had the seat way too far back, but I'm 6'3" and that's how far back it is. I don't need all that space. So if it was scooted up where it should be, I'd have plenty of room and my knees would not be touching the back of this seat. And I know this from owning two other Malibus, and they have some of the best leg room in the segment. We have a 12 volt down there. And now the center seat does not fold down in the RS, which is interesting. But as I look at it, it's really, this one in particular is like an LS with just a few components on it to make it look sportier. And with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at this window sticker and you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Now we do get the standard power driver's seat, which I like, but we have an option for remote start. This one does have a floor liner package that's yet to be installed, but stickers for only $26,080. Let's go around to the back here. Love that spoiler, I will say that. Then we have our tail lights there. We have a dual exhaust. And there's our trunk space, which the Malibus are known for having very generous trunk space. And then you pull this here, and I'll show you how the seats fold flat here in a moment. While we're over here, fuel filler there. And that'll take 87, no problem. And then you can fit longer objects through that back seat with this folded flat. And then to put it back, you just slap it back and it'll lock in. Now here's our front passenger seat, which we can control the seat back, the seat bottom, and we can slide the seat back and forth. So 6-way manual there. But if you want a good looking car, definitely can't go wrong with this. And I really like how they drive. The CVT, not so much, but with the 6-speed, I loved it. CVT is okay, and you get better fuel mileage, but like I said, for 26 grand, just a really good commuter car. Well, let's pop the hood right here. And there's that 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. Just one more look at the front. I really like that emblem and just how all that's blacked out there. And then even the plastic black here looks really good on this RS. Rather have gloss, but can't have everything. Now let's hop in the driver's seat. Now I do like that we get a standard leather wrapped steering wheel here, because you don't get that in the LS. Feels really nice. And then we also have this nice 8-inch screen here with wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. We have AM, FM, and Bluetooth. And there's our other homepage there. Backup camera with guidelines that turns you turn the steering wheel. Then we have our auto stop, we can toggle that, hazards. And then down here we have our climate controls. So no dual zone or anything like that, just single zone manual, which is fine. And over here we have our shifter. Push the button back here, reverse, neutral, drive, low mode, and then we can shift manually here, and it'll show you in that bottom right corner of the digital part of the gauge cluster. And then we have an electronic parking brake, pull up to engage, press down to disengage. Center console cubby space, not as wide as I would have liked it, but pretty deep. You just like throwing stuff in there. And there's a view of the back seat from up here. And I will say, I do like how they have your clothes hangers here, and then you still have the bar for the front passenger to hold on to. Some people like to use that as they go around corners or whatever. And then we have our glove compartment with owner's manuals. And for this to be such an inexpensive car, I love how this looks to go with the, of course you have plastic, but you have that kind of carpeted look there with the aluminum trim. Looks really nice. Your OnStar buttons are gonna be up there, and then you get the LED dome light, so that's nice. Now, to the steering wheel, we have our cruise controls, which we can toggle there. We have our voice recognition controls, mute, and then these 4 arrows are to go through your gauge cluster. And then behind the steering wheel on the left side, you can control your track list or radio station favorites. And then behind the steering wheel on the right side, you can control your volume. So you can get a good look at that, and they look pretty, they're identical on either side. But there's your push button start. And finally, here's the key fob with remote start. But next, let's go ahead and take this Malibu RS out on the road for a quick test drive. So I will say with the CVT, you don't have any shift points to worry about, so the acceleration actually feels more linear. But there's just something for me about having a traditional transmission. I like feeling the shift points. I like knowing when the vehicle is going to shift. And with the CVT, I never really know. Let's give it some throttle here. So decent pickup, and one of the reasons these vehicles are so nice in my opinion is the 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder is a very capable engine for a larger vehicle. I don't want to say it's large, but it is larger in terms of sedans. And to still have a commuter car that gets 36 miles per gallon on the highway, and you don't feel like you're sitting in the engine bay, that's hard to come by these days. Even in your Altimas and Maximas, I just don't feel the same amount of space as I do in this Malibu. And they've always impressed me with that. Chevrolet has since they did that huge redesign in 2016. ride quality has always been incredible in my opinion. And road noise, in this one in particular, it's decent. I feel like my Premier that I had a 16 Premier with 19s on it, and I feel like that was not as loud as this RS is. But this does have 18s, and it does have, I think it has summer tires on it. So I don't know how that makes a difference, but that might have something to do with it. Or it could just all be in my head. But still, sound quality's decent. You're gonna have your radio on more than likely anyway. I mean, mine's always on, so probably won't bother you that much. And you don't get drive modes, which for this setup you really don't need, because I mean you don't need a sport mode with this kind of setup, but I would like to see that in maybe a 2-liter turbo rendition. And I tell you what I'd like to see, kind of off topic, I wish they would make a Malibu with, I don't even know if it would fit, but if they could get like a 3.6, I think it's a powertrain, either in the CT4V or the CT4V Blackwing with either a 2.7 turbo or a 3.6 twin turbo, that'd be awesome. But this is where, on this stretch of road, this Malibu suspension is really shining, and this is one of the reasons that I loved both of mine, is just the ride quality. I don't feel like there's understeer or oversteer. I feel like the steering feel is perfect, and it just rides so well. It just rides incredibly. And even these cloth seats, where the driver's seat's so adjustable, you can make this as comfortable as you want it to be without having heated, cooled seats, honestly. And having the leather is nice, but is that worth paying another 5 to 10 grand? That's for you to decide. But with all that being said, the Malibu is still a very, very great car for the money, especially when it comes to commuting with this 1.5-liter turbo. And you pretty much have all the features that are a necessity. And with that being said, this is going to bring me to the end of my review of the 2022 Chevrolet Malibu RS.